in a few moments, we're going to go outside and sing our last hymn and have our blessing. But before we do that, I'm going to just invite Wilf to come up and speak briefly about how we can support Christian Aid. Thank you, Wilf.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay with the mask on?
You can lower it, it's fine.
Yes, okay. Okay, take it off. I'd just like to thank Reverend Sharon for such a thoughtful and reflective service. I've been to many Christian Aid services over the years, and I found this one touched me more than most, shall we say. So thank you very much for that, and all the work that she's actually put into that. I know how much details Christian Aid sends you, and it must have taken hours to go through all that. But this is the start of Christian Aid Week, and it's a Christian Aid Week like no other. Christian Aid internally has gone through a lot of traumas, but I think now with the pandemic and with the climate crisis, things have actually reached a stage now where Christian Aid, along with many other groups, are wanting to take action on climate. Sharon referred back to something that happened, was it the Paris one in 92? I can remember... Rio, 92. I remember over 20 years ago going to Christian Aid meetings, and they had a partner, and I cannot remember which African country it was from, but they actually were raising climate change as an issue they were seeing in their country, and everyone went, yes, this is a problem, and I don't think anything very much happened. With climate change, we're the people, we'll be okay. We've got the resources, we've got the money. It's the people like Florence who are relying on earth dams for their water. And by the way, that water isn't drinkable. It's not there all year either. Those dams dry out. They have to get tablets from the government to sanitize the water so they can actually drink it. 40 years ago, they didn't need those dams. We've got the records, and we've got the climate records, because in Kenya, of course, had a lot of British influence, and British people tend to keep records about weather, so they know what's going on there. But the reason that climate change for me became so important was, for the last few years, I was doing talks for Christian Aid, going to various churches and church groups, and I particularly like going to breakfast clubs. And you were talking about people like Florence, and I was it was becoming the same old thing you were saying. In Malawi, there was drought, then there was flooding, which meant the farmers couldn't grow the crops that they had grown, having to look at helping them change what they were doing. In Bangladesh, it was people living by riverbanks. Those rivers flooded once every 20 years. They were now flooding once every 5 years. So what I was going around to do was trying to encourage people to give money to Christian Aid to alleviate the impact of climate change. We weren't actually trying to raise the standards of poor people and help them get themselves out of poverty. We were just giving money to alleviate a crisis that we in the West had actually created. And that's why Christian Aid has been very strong about this. I mean, Christian Aid has been a campaigning organisation all its life. Its 75th birthday this year. It's campaigned on apartheid, on debt, and on fair trade. So one thing I think we can do, and it doesn't cost us anything, is, I think on everyone's chair you've got a 7-day devotional. And please take this away and have a look at it this week. And it has got in for each day something to reflect on and something to respond to. And at the back it's also got a postcard. And again, those of you who've been around a little while will know Christian Aid is very big on postcards. And they do think that this government is susceptible to public opinion. So at the back there is a postcard going to the Prime Minister, asking for certain actions to be taken at the COP26 climate change meeting in Glasgow in November that the UK and the Italian government are hosting, which will be the biggest climate change conference, I think, yet, where hopefully they can make some decisions. And some things are coming out beforehand, as we've seen the UK government do, which is great. We want to encourage them to keep moving, to move faster, to move quicker. So if you do want to send a postcard afterwards, please do so. There's also the standard Christian Aid Week envelope here. If you want to put anything in there, you can bring it back next week. It'll be collected then. If not, take it away with you. And on the back, there's ways you can also donate through online, or there's a phone number even as well that you can actually ring. So thank you, everyone, for your support for Christian Aid in the past. I know it has been absolutely fantastic from this church, and I hope we can continue to keep that going in the future, and I hope that we can all make an impact on climate change. So thank you, and thank you again, Sharon.
Thank you, Wilf.